Hey guys, I'm Brogan, and today we're diving into something seriously cool for both gamers as well as keyboard enthusiasts. This right here is the brand new Wegear Cherry PIXIU98 Mechanical Keyboard. Now this collaboration here brings together Cherry's legendary switch technology along with Wegear's high performance design, and honestly it's one of the coolest looking keyboards that I've seen in a very long time. Now what really stands out is the dual mode high polling rate right here. We have 8,000 Hertz in wired mode and we have 4,000 Hertz wirelessly on here. That's up to 32 times faster than the standard wireless keyboards out there on the market today. And before we jump into the unboxing, just a heads up, pre-orders start November 14th and the official sales go live November 21st. So mark your calendars. Now let's unbox this and take a closer look at what this keyboard has to offer. All right guys, here is the keyboard box. We're gonna go ahead and start opening this up. So very nice packaging. I mean, this feels 100% premium right here. So inside we have our full-on user manual. Now this opens up and it's in a bunch of different languages here. We have a little sticker included. Right here, it looks like we have our dongle. So Type-C connection right there. So here we have our keyboard. We're going to set that aside for a moment. We also have this tool to actually remove our buttons if we need to. So you can see how it would latch right onto those buttons. We can demo that momentarily. We also have our USB-A to Type-C braided cable here. Decent amount of length on here. Comes with a Velcro strap to keep things nice and tidy, but USB-A to Type-C. Type-C is going to be what connects over to the actual keyboard itself. But let's go ahead and set that stuff aside. Let's bring the keyboard out into the mix. Now this is a sharp looking keyboard and we haven't even powered this on. So buttons are very high sitting here. They seem to be very responsive. They pop right back up into action instantly as soon as your finger kind of pops right off of there. Now full keyboard with the number pad, which is incredible. Really impressed by this. The tops of the buttons feel very comfortable to hit. Everything just automatically lines up right where it should on here. This feels super comfortable. Sometimes with keyboards you have to kind of get used to placement and adjust from what you're used to, but this feels very responsive right here. So definitely liking that. And then for gaming, obviously you want everything to be really quick and responsive and bouncy. That seems to be the case here. Arrow keys are very good. Space bars located, centered right underneath all of your different letters here. Numbers across the top. Function buttons across all of that. Incredible. Really a big fan of this. Now there is a little screen located right over here. I'm going to go ahead and remove the plastic protector off of that.
So here you guys can see what the lighting looks on here. I'm in a somewhat dimly lit room right here, and very vibrant colors on the back end of the keyboard. Now over here we have all of our controls. So it's the dial, so we can kind of scroll back and forth, but we can also have a button function on this so we can navigate our way through the settings. So we have our volume here, you can go up or down. We also have light effects. So if we go in here, we have the rainbow, which is what you see currently. We also have wave, which just kind of scrolls left to right on here. I'll center this so you guys can see a little bit better. We also have what's called spectrum here. And that's just kind of like a slower paced transition. We have breathing, which is like a pulsing sort of color scheme. We also have rolling right here, which I definitely like that. It's kind of rainbow, but it gradually kind of changes. We have curve, which goes back and forth. We have scan, which is cool for sure. With radiation, you have to hit your buttons. So you see how it kind of pulses from the button that you hit. So it's very interactive. We have ripple, and that's going to be, you know, as you type, obviously it interacts with what you're doing. And then we also have single here, which is just going to be, I suppose, more local to whichever keys you're hitting. We have static here, which doesn't interact with you. And we have custom and return. So I'm going to actually leave it on, which one do I like most? I think wave is kind of subtle yet engaging. So I'm going to leave it on that. Now, if we scroll all the way down, we can see that we have return highlighted. We just hit the button and it goes back to light effect. We can go to brightness. So I have this on 100% brightness, but if you want to tone it down a little bit, you can go to 25%. You can go up to 75%, 50%, whatever you want to do. I like 100. I like it being really bright and bold. And then you can just go up to return, same thing. And you can shut this off too. You don't have to have these lights going. So we have speed. You can go ahead and change the levels of speed here. That's level 5. It's a little too much for me. I like 3. 3 is nice and subtle. And then same thing, when you want to go back, you go to return, hit the button. But we can also go in here, we can set profiles. We have our APM in here. We have volume controls. So you just simply go up or down with the volume. You can mute on here as well. So lots of functions built right into this. We have a media button too, where we can actually play things. So like if we're editing, we can play, we can go to the next slide, we can go to the next video. You can navigate all that stuff here. So I'm gonna go to return, we'll back out of that one. We have our settings here, we have return, and then we're back to the top where it was the light effects that we chose.
If we go up here, you'll notice that we have a Type-C port located right there. That is where you're going to grab your cable that was provided, and you're gonna simply plug that in, just like so. USB-A side here is going to plug into a computer of your choosing, and that's how you can have your wired connection here. Now there's 2 other ways to connect over. You can unplug that. We also have Bluetooth, where you just simply move this little toggle switch over to my right, your left, just like that. It's going to pop up on your nearest device. So I actually have 2 computers, one on either side of me, and as I do that, it populates in perfectly. The other way to use this is we can actually use the receiver that's included in here as well. The way that this works is you're going to take the same cable that we were using to have that wired connection with our keyboard to our PC. You're going to plug the Type-C side into your receiver right here. And now what's going to happen is you plug this into the PC that you want to connect over to. So you're going to plug this in to the laptop in this case here. And now, as long as we are toggled over to that receiver, which is all the way to my left, your right here, now what we're able to do is we are able to type right onto our laptop. So you can see how easy it is to connect this over to your PC, a wide range of different ways. We have a bunch of shortcuts on here. Now on the bottom side of the keyboard, we also have our feet on here. So we can flip it up one way there, which is going to elevate this quite a bit. If you take a look at the side profile on here, you can see that it's elevated this up considerably by simply lifting up the back side. But we also have another option in here as well. We can actually go in here, we can fold that down, and there's a smaller option within here as well. So if you just want to elevate it ever so slightly, you can go ahead with that. And that's probably the one that I'd use. I don't like it to be pitched back too much. I think that smaller one is the sweet spot for me. All right, guys, this looks absolutely incredible. I love all the RGB lights that are built in here. I like all the different ways that you can kind of make the experience your own visually on here. But at the end of the day, it all boils down to what is the performance like on here. That's what ultimately makes or breaks a mechanical gaming keyboard in the end. So let's talk about the experience. We first are going to go ahead and plug this in via USB-C cable connection to our PC. And when we do, we get an incredible 8,000 hertz polling rate on here. That means that the keyboard is sending input signals 8,000 times per second. So every key press feels instant. There's no lags, there's no delays. This is literally esport level responsiveness. Now, when you switch to wireless, it still delivers 4,000 hertz polling rate on here, which is absolutely insane. Most wireless keyboards out there are only at 125 hertz. That's 32 times more responsive than typical wireless keyboards. So this is a complete game changer. And in actual use, the input delay here is less than 0.3 milliseconds, which feels almost indistinguishable from the wired connection. Now let's talk about the switches. It's using the Cherry MX2A brown switches here. These are tactile. They also give crisp feedback with every single press, but they're not overly clicky at the same time. So it's really balanced beautifully on here. They also offer a very short actuation navigation travel. This is great for gaming as well as typing. So every time that you are using this, it's going to feel very smooth and stable no matter what environment you're in, whether again gaming or using this for more office style usage. Now, another thing that I love about this keyboard is that every single key is hot swappable. That means that if you ever want to swap out switches, mix in linear or clicky options, or just simply replace a key later on down the line, it's as simple as grabbing this provided tool right here. Both ends offer you a different way of actually removing these. So you can swap them out, you can upgrade them, you can change them out in any way, shape, or form that meets what your individual needs are. Now, we also have, of course, those RGB lights here, which we already saw all the capabilities of, but I want to make mention of the fact that this thing has 16.8 million different color options here, dynamic effects, and even lighting that syncs up with your music's rhythm if you wanted to. So you can really make the experience 100% your own right here. And visually, the pudding style keycaps here look absolutely incredible as well. So after using this both for gaming as well as office use and even video editing, because I do rely heavily on my keyboards for video editing, I'm super impressed by what this offers. I gamed on here, I use this for office usage, sending out a bunch of emails, so I was typing regularly on here, and then I also use this for video editing, and I rely heavily on my keyboard for video editing to pause things, to make cuts, to add transitions, all that good stuff here. This thing is super responsive, very reliable. There's no lag whatsoever on here, and those RGB lights here create an amazing visual aesthetic. So huge fan of what this has to offer. I think this is an amazing option and by far one of the best mechanical keyboards with gaming potential here that I've ever reviewed on the channel. So once again, remember that pre-orders open November 14th, official sales start November 21st. So click those links in the description of this video, get some additional information, set a reminder for those dates. That's going to do it for today, guys. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you thought about this stylish keyboard. That's going to do it. Thank you so much for your support. I'll see you guys on the next video.